Welcome to the JSP session for Talnex training. So in the last session, we have seen the overview of servlets. So after completing servlets only, we are moving for the JSP because there is a relation between servlet and JSP. The role of web container is very, very important here. So in the last session, we have discussed about the container. Within the container only, we will store the servlets. Even servlet redirection also will happen through that corresponding container only. Like container's role is very, very important here. So let us start the session for JSP, Java Server Pages. Right? What is the purpose of this JSP? Right? Already we have come across technology JAX. Right? So before the period of Ajax, the role of dynamic web content is completely provided by JSP only. So initially it was launched by Sun Microsystems, but later by Oracle Corporation, they are ready to supply the corresponding APIs. So relevant to JSP, we have a competitor in Microsoft environment is ASP, Active Server Pages. JSP will be completely taken care of and hosted by Apache Tomcat server. But while you are going for ASP in Microsoft, that will be taken care of by IIS, Internet Information Server. So if I need to run a ASP program, I need IIS. If I need to run a JSP program, I need a Tomcat server. That's the main thing. Right? So both of them will play a role of web servers only. So how I will store this file in the name of extension.jsp. So in the HTML, by adding some special elements that will be filtered and monitored by the server, while it is going to execute, it will separate the HTML code and the JSP code. So we will see how it is happening in a architectural way. So actually, we must understand what is the JSP page. Okay, so the JSP page will consist of both static content as well as dynamic content. Static content represents HTML, dynamic content represents JSP. Right? This is your basic understanding about a JSP page. Okay. And the main features that what I could able to focus here is it could give you some text-based tags completely. It will supply you some expression-based tags also to manipulate with the server-side environment. You can define your own tags also. Right? So how we are doing in our XML, we are defining our own tags. Likewise, here you can create your custom tags also. Right? So all these things can be encompassed in your own JSP page. That what the page that you are going to create, you could able to use all these entities in the JSP content, not the HTML, because HTML have already predefined tags. But JSP, you can use your own user-defined tags also. That is also possible. So the JSP page will consist of both dynamic content as well as static content. Static content is powered by HTML. Dynamic content is completely powered by JSP. Right. So if JSP web page, right? The term JSP web page, that's very important. So designing websites using JSP is a trend. Right? So why it is a trend? The architecture will reveal to us. Normally, how a JSP architecture will behave. Okay, so from browser, the request will come to the container. Container will check because servlet is the capsule. Over the capsule, you are having the JSP program. Okay, so the JSP wrapper will be removed and it will check the servlet inside the function name or the API which is available inside this JSP tag. So it will check. So if it is available already, it will reload it. That is its response. We go to the node tag. If it is not available, what it will do? It will identify that function, nothing but the servlet. It will generate it. It will recompile it. Again, it will go for responding towards the container. In that way, it will be responded, right? So once if it was already generated, it will not go and regenerate it, right? That is the basic property of the container what we have seen in the servlet, right? So this is the basic architecture how a JSP page will get to be executed. Right, in the programmatic way, what are all the things are necessary for me to run a JSP program, right? How to run the JSP program actually. So http:// host is nothing but, since you are going to run in the local machine, you can put localhost : since your server is on the same machine, means what you have to use, you have to use :8080/hello.jsp. This is the way to run the program, right? Simply you will type the program and you will store it in Notepad, and I will show you some separate presentation on how to run a servlet program as well as how to run a JSP program also. But here, these are all the components are necessary for me to run a JSP program, right? I need a JSP translator for a hello.jsp, right? The JSP source file, I need a JSP translator because it's having both HTML file and a JSP file. So what is JSP file? Within percentage, it means angle bracket percentage. Within that, I could able to write my Java code percentage close the angle bracket. This could be my syntax. So in that case, so within that percentage scriptlet tag, my Java code is available. Java code will be compiled by the Java compiler only, right? It will identify that. Next, so OC4J, that is a servlet runner, right? But OC4J servlet runner will take care of the servlet class. Okay, it will take care of the servlet class. Nothing but hello.java will be compiled, it will generate hello.class. Nothing but the servlet class. That hello.class file will be managed by both by the servlet runner and the JSP runtime environment. So for example, if it is going to work only with any page-based parameters, for example, you are typing some username and password, that will be verified in the database, and you are going to get the next page that what you want to see. For example, in internet banking, by typing your username and login password, by clicking OK, it is verified with your DB, and you are moving to the next page, accounts page. So that subsequent accounts page will be displayed towards you as a HTML page, right? That could be the output. Okay, so JSP file is the input, output is your HTML page. Please remember that. The HTML page consists of both, they have mentioned XML also, consists of both static content as well as dynamic content, right? For example, you are doing some transaction. So when you are going to press F5, what will happen? Content will be refreshed, data will be refreshed, not formatting. Okay, this is what we have seen in our Ajax also. What is the difference between servlets and JSP? I think this simple code will demonstrate you, right? In servlets, you will write, what you will do? Within Java, you will write HTML code, right? Within Java, you will write HTML code. Do get is nothing but our HTTP servlet, right? So generic servlet means I will have service method. Do getter to post will talk about my HTTP servlet. Okay, so in servlets, HTML code will be written inside the Java code. But in JSP, within HTML code, we will write our Java code. So how to identify that? That can be given within angle bracket percentage. The term percentage represents that it is going to run at server. Okay, it will run at server. Percentage. I have mentioned that delimiter percentage means it states that the corresponding statement will run at server. That is the meaning, right? So this is a sample regarding the code segment, code snippets. But this could be the actual difference between servlet and JSP. This is my JSP architecture, right? How it will behave. So when the client is going to make a request, a HTTP request, so what it will happen? So it is going to send a page, a JSP page. The JSP page will be read by the web server, nothing but Tomcat server. It will parse the HTML file separately. We have Java code which will be given within the percentage mark, right? It will parse it, it will separate it. Hello servlet.java will be compiled by the Java compiler. It will generate hello servlet.class. This is nothing but your servlet. Okay, the generated servlet will be sent to the server, right? Server will execute it. Tomcat server will execute it. Results of this servlet will be given as a HTML page. That's it. That is what your HTTP response is, right? So initially, when it is going to move JSP plus HTML. So while it is getting inside web server will pass HTML separately, Java separately. Java code will be compiled by the Java compiler. It will generate .class file. .class file will be converted or given to the web server to execute inside the container, right? Our container has that servlet config object. So that will taken care of execution and it will send the results. Results will be again sent in the form of a static web page to HTML, right? This is the complete JSP architecture. What are all the JSP elements we have? We have three types of JSP elements: JSP directives, JSP scripting elements, JSP actions. Right? What about these JSP directives? These are all like your header files. Okay, you have to use these header files if you are going to use the corresponding tags within this JSP directives. Right? It is like your stdio.h or iostream.h in your corresponding C and C++. Right? Scripting elements, it's nothing but you will mention all these things within angle bracket, right? Even in the previous code, you could be able to see I have given within percentage mark, I have given Java code, right? This is also a scriptlet only, right? So that can be given within the corresponding tag. You will see, right? Everything will be given within the angle bracket. JSP actions, okay? Action tags. We will see the list of action tags that what are all ready to supply. See. Instead of event-driven programming and instead of some accessible APIs, these tags will help us to write the program in a simpler way, right? So that is the idea here. And you could be able to see here. These are all the section scripting elements, right? Scripting elements are nothing but these are all things. Comment tag, right? I could be able to give like this, as well as directive tag. So there I could be able to mention %@. That's what the term directive. Only pertaining to dots, it is comment tag. I'm going to mention %scriptlet tag. So scriptlet tags are mainly used when I'm going to work with like Java code. %@ means the code will run at server. Okay. %scriptlet means it will be handled directly by the compiler. %equal to means it will evaluate an expression. If you are going to give a Java expression there, it will be taken care and it will be evaluated. Right? Declaration tag, nothing but it will start with some exclamation mark. But you are going to use any declarations here. So these are all the 5 types of main tags that can be used in JSP. Next, JSP directives. So there are 3 types of directives are available for us. Include directive, nothing but if I need to include, I have to use the attribute file. So how I will use JSP : include, which is equal to within double quotes, I will mention that file name, right? File name.jsp, like I said, be able to mention. If I need to include any associative file, I could be able to give like this using the attribute file. Page directive, right? So page directive means I could be able to manage all these things. I can do redirection, I can import a particular page, I can manage the page using session variable is very, very important pertaining to cookies and session tracking handling. I could be able to provide error page can be managed through that. Content type, right? It could be based on a XML, right? I could be able to manage that. So extents means I am ready to access some service from other base class. Information about the current page can be had through the info tag. Language, right? So what type of support version that I'm going to use here. Auto flush, automatically it will clear the cache. So buffer, it is ready to access the data from the cache. So all these type of attributes are available for our page directive. Next, tag lib directive, tagged library. That's what tag lib directive. It is ready to identify resources. Okay? Resources, URI. It is ready to identify a location in the server, right? Prefix. It is ready to name that resource, right? Prefix is ready to name that resource. So these are all the JSP directives to be used. Next, JSP standard actions. So what are all the action tags that we can use here, right? The Java code termed as being here. The Java code, what I am using within my JSP program, could be able to manage all those things. Parameter, include, I could be able to include those files. Forward, it is like our history object, right? Uh, Plugin, I could be able to incorporate a third-party component within my environment. Use bean, I could be able to use a Java class directly within my program. Set property and get property, right? Setter method and getter method for a Java bean, right? To manage my Java code, which is available within the corresponding JSP program, can be managed completely through these tags in an efficient way. A simple example is JSP colon param, right? We are having parameter names and parameter values in our servlet. Those two functionalities are combined here, and we are having a single attribute JSP colon param. Right? It is ready to retrieve our data. It is ready to retrieve the data from the user UI controls. Okay. For example, I am having username and password, which is available in two text box that can be fetched easily through that param, right? Using that parameter. So likewise, every one of them have their own functionalities. This is what your JSP standard action tags. Right? These are all some of the implicit objects in JSP that you must know it, because these implicit objects only will help us to work with the web container. Nothing but to work with the servlet. These are all necessary for my JSP. Right? These are all JSP implicit objects which are necessary to handle the servlet, which is available in my web container, or which is available or which is ready to be generated in terms of my JSP. Right? So application, that is the first object. So that can be managed through my servlet context. Okay, so that is the ready-made API for that. Config, nothing but our servlet config. Okay, so either you can able to consider like this: implicit object list is completely managed through my JSP. API section is completely managed through my servlet environment, right? Servlet container. That's the meaning. So servlet container could be able to work with these APIs. Implicit objects will be managed easy through my JSP engine. That's the main reason. Okay, so exception we are using in JSP. In servlet we will be using JSP exception. Okay, so out method, out object, here we are going to use JSP writer. Okay, so nothing but the console output. So page, right here we are going to use the term object. There we are using page context. So page context is common for both servlet and JSP. Here we are using the object request. There I have to use servlet request as well as servlet response. That's a common thing. Here we are using the method get session. Please remember, get session, that's what we will be using. So there I could be able to use my HTTP session, right? So these implicit objects are mapped with the API. API will work within the container. Please remember, API will work within the container. Objects will be available in my JSP program. Okay, I can use my objects in my JSP program. When I am using this object in my JSP program, container will ready to supply the corresponding API by seeing the corresponding JSP object in the program. Suppose if I have used out means the API corresponding API is nothing but JSP writer. Likewise, it will go for this verifying a token based mechanism. Next, JSP tag libraries, okay, or defined tag libraries. What is the purpose of this? So here it could be like I can create my own tags, right? Initially I have conveyed about this while we are dealing about the architecture of JSP. So in that case, this could be the procedure. So JSP file, in the JSP file, I can use that tag. Okay. If I need to use the tag, what I have to do? I have to create a file with the extension .tld. Within the file, what I have to do? I have to define a tag. I have to name the tag. Okay. I need a class to handle that tag. Okay. Simple thing is I have to write a Java program. That's it. Okay. So that Java program will be managed through tag handler class. So what I have to do, the function name what I am going to keep within that class will show me to access the corresponding tag functionality, right? That is what this tagged library directives. Okay, how to create our own tags. This could be a simple example, right? So tag handler class is created here. Within that, I'm creating my own tag, nothing but do start tag. So what is the logic I wrote here? Simple thing. If I'm going to use this tag, it will return me the time. That's it. It will return me the local time, right? So that is the logic I have written inside that. So do start tag will help me to return the current time. So I could able to use this do start tag within my JSP predefined JSP custom defined tags, right? So this is my TLD. Okay, so this is my TLD. So do start tag is nothing but my TLD. To the functionality of do start tag is it will retrieve me the current time. That's what get time. Likewise, you can create your own tags and use it inside the JSP program. Likewise, so I have shown you the procedure how to write our own tags, but already we have some set of tag libraries are available. JSTL tag libraries, right? These tag libraries are already instead of writing a Java code, they are supplying this as a library API. That's all, right? Even instead of using the term API, they are supplying as a tag. I could be able to say. Okay, the functional areas are core, nothing but we'll start with the C. So XML related corresponding tags I could be able to use. Formatting tags I'm having. The tags which are related to SQL is available. So again, function related tags, nothing but some of the built-in APIs in Java, example collections. So for those things, I have some tags will be available here, right? So instead of importing any particular packages in Java, I could able to use these tags directly by mentioning this URI. If I mention this URI will support the corresponding prefix tag and it will make me to work. I'll show you the list of tags, what they will be doing. Right, this is the core tags. Right, these are all core tags. That is the reason why before the tag it is being prefixed with a C colon. Right, C colon. We know all these things. Some of them are implicit objects. Right, so try, throw, catch, all the control structures, whatever that I needed, I could be able to do that. Redirect, what we have seen in serverless redirect, the same type of mechanism. These are all some of the examples of the core tags that are being available. Choose that will behave like my corresponding switch case, right? So that's like I could able to use all core tags by mentioning the corresponding prefix C colon. So you must know the tags as well as corresponding functionality. It's enough for you to answer for the MCQs. XML tags, right? X colon that represents the XML tags. So out, parse, set, if. So up to out, parse, set, these are all the basic content, right? Initialization and other things. If, for each, choose, when, otherwise, these are all control structures. Okay, so instead of using a complete program segment, I can use this tag. It is enough, right? Transform, param. So transform is something that already we have seen in XSLT, right? The same code only. X colon transform param. It is ready to get the parameter from the page. Right? These are all XML related JSTL tags. That is the reason why the tags are being prefixed with the X colon. SQL tags. So these are all purely related to our database. That's the reason why it is prepared with the SQL colon. Okay. So instead of writing a complete very big JDBC program, I could able to write it in a simpler manner in JSP. Right? SQL colon set data source. Within that, it is enough for me to mention the location of the database, comma the table. It's enough. SQL colon query. So within that tag, I could able to give my direct SQL query. Select star from the particular table name. It's enough. Likewise, whatever applicable within that SQL, DDL, DML operations, TCL operations, everything can be fetched out. Even if I want to compare some username and password from the HTML page, and that has to be compared in a database server. That can also be done through this SQL colon param. Instead of using the param in our main library API, we can use this in a easier way. That will reduce my validation in the backend itself. Instead of coming and informing at the front end, we will do validation in the backend itself, right? These are all some of the list of SQL tags. Function tags, right? Function tags is nothing but it will have some built-in functionalities or ready-made methods which are available in my core Java, right? Core Java. So what are all the, for example, for string we have some set of built-in methods. For collections, array list, I'm having some set of built-in methods. For a corresponding map, I'm having some set of built-in methods. So likewise, what are all the built-in API-based methods are available? Everything can be accessed by using F1 colon. It has to be given within the corresponding tag. See, for all these types of functions, what I need to do, I have to mention this line. So within that angle bracket, percentage taglit prefix equal to fn, right? So if I were to, this could be the syntax that I could be able to use, right? So f1 colon contains. Likewise, I have to mention within that. Okay, so that's the usage of the corresponding tags. So finally, formatting tags, FMT tags. Formatting actions can be happened, especially here. Pertaining to formatting, here we are concentrating with what about your date format, what about your number format, what about your time format, what are all available with our date and time collections packages as well as numeric packages. Everything can be available as a formatting actions, right? So if I need to set the time zone, means it is enough. FMT colon set time zone, I could be able to mention the corresponding attribute equal to Kolkata. Ultimately, the corresponding time zone will set for my environment, right? So likewise for date, time as well as type of data, everything is available as a formatting action. These are all available formatting actions, right? So pertaining to JSTL, please remember that you have formatting tags, function tags, SQL tags, XML tags, core tags. So these tags have already predefined methods, but here we are creating our own method, right? Using predefined methods, we are creating our own methods, right? So that could be the idea behind this. So Java implicit objects are necessary for me in the JSP program, but how it will be interpreted in web container, it will be managed by the servlet API service. Right, so we have seen standard actions, types of JSP directives, what are all the corresponding attributes are there, what about my scripting elements, right? So these are all the fundamentals that to be revised along with our JSP architecture, right? My JSP program consists of both HTML and JSP code. Server will parse HTML file separately, Java file separately. Java program will be compiled, it will generate .class file. .class will be executed by the servlet engine. It's available in the servlet. Result of the servlet will be embossed in HTML file and sent towards the client. That's it. That's the basic architecture of our JSP. So the basic idea is dynamic websites can be created in a rapid pace using JSP with the power of the technology serverless, which resides within it. Using Tomcat as a basic server, you could be able to run this JSP programs. Happy learning. Thank you.